Hi there, this is Vince of vinceprep.com speaking about the Insead application, specifically focusing right now on the job essays. This is my website, vinceprep.com. You can always find my results here under my nose. My Insead results over the years have been quite good. I feel that I'm able to help my clients understand the questions behind the questions. Another thing specifically that I do with Insead, because there are so many questions to answer, I help my clients by grouping them into distinct stages that I think make the most sense. I suggest writing the easiest essays first. In this case, the easiest essays sometimes are not even essays. The profile pages are mostly data about things that have already happened. You have all that information already. It's not involving, there are important decisions to make, and the questions are important, but they don't often require as much deep reflection and multiple writing and rewriting as some of the later essays that are a bit more subtle and require a little more thought into telling your story, and particularly telling your story within the confines of the word limit. The earlier essays I look at in this video particularly are what I call the job essays, where you talk about your current job, your career trajectory, which is just a fancy word to mean your career history, your career path, your career summary, so far analyzing your growth and your growth potential, and finally the third essay, what are you doing right now if you're currently between jobs or not working full-time. They want you to explain that. Those are the job essays, and that's the focus of this video. So let's jump right into it. So the first essay, job essay 1, is specifically just about your current job. The question here is, briefly summarize your current or most recent job, including, and here's a sort of list that they tell you what they want: the nature of the work, major responsibilities, and where relevant, employees under your supervision, the size of the budget, clients and products, and results achieved. That's important. So some of my clients do write this as a list. Others of them summarize this in more of an essay form. In the beginning, when you're working with me, I don't care what form it takes, just give me the data. They don't want, Insead doesn't allow you to send a resume or CV, but this essay therefore allows you to interpret what they wouldn't see. Also, the profile pages, which I talked about in a previous video, give you lots of space to explain everything that otherwise would be in a resume. There is space to include it. They just don't want a one-page resume as a separate document. So what does all this mean? What are the questions behind the questions? I think the first question they're asking with this "what are you doing now, what's your current job" essay is, can you achieve objectives? Can you make things happen? It's all about the results and also the process. So for example, you might want to include details about influencing seniors and motivating subordinates. A particular example or a project or something you're very proud of might be the subject for the accomplishments essay, which I'll talk about separately, but some of those details involving the size of your team, who you report to, and the ways that you go about influencing those people under you and above you could be included in this essay. Another way to think of this is, do others seek out your skills and expertise? What are you really good at? One handy qualifying list of qualifying adjectives that I often ask my clients are, try to think of times that you were the first, the youngest, the only, or the best. FYOB. FYOB. First, youngest, only, best. So first, we just mean you started something new. You launched a new initiative, or you either saved the company money, you cut costs, or you made money for the company. You increased profit, or you cut loss. Or maybe you increased collaboration between your department and another department, or your branch or your section or your country office and another country office, or you increased communication between headquarters and a subsidiary or an overseas branch. Something about communication or results in some way. So that would, and you were the first one to either have the idea or Others had tried to implement it, but they couldn't succeed. So you're the first one to do so. So that shows innovation is very important to Insead. Youngest, that would be you're simply younger than you're supposed to be. You're below the average age to be doing what you do. You're promoted faster. You have people underneath you in the company organizational chart, but who are actually older than you in age. That sometimes happens. If that's the case, make sure you tell them. It's another indicator that the company values you and that you're also able to manage the difficulties of sometimes having someone has more life experience than you in age, older than you, underneath you, and you need to motivate them despite that difference. If you're the only person, that would be an obvious differentiator. Maybe it's a group of men, you're the only woman, or the other way around, it's a group of women and you're the only man, or culturally you're the only person from a particular cultural or ethnic background or even country background. You're the only person from country A working in this team located in country B. So any time that you can differentiate yourself as being the only one. So first, youngest, only, or best. Best would be best shown through an award or some kind of external validation. Number one in sales, some performance indicator, some official award or distinction, or unofficially. You can prove that you're the best. Otherwise, you just sound like you're bragging. So that's it. That's job essay 1. It's an important little essay, and it's one of the first things that I ask my clients to send to me so I can understand your background. The second little job essay, I'm saying a little, it's small but important. The question is, please give us a full description of your career since graduating from university. And second, if you were to remain with your present employer, what would be your next step in terms of position? So the questions behind the question here are, again, going back to Insead's admissions criteria, they're looking for exceptional maturity and outstanding leadership. So this would be a time that you would show a career growth that does just demonstrate that exceptional maturity or outstanding leadership in your career. Going all the way back to the beginning, since graduation, why did you choose to do what you do? What was exciting to you about it? Why did you make the choices you made? And then, how over time, how have your responsibilities increased? You can include a concrete example. When I started, I was just learning on the job, and I had to get help from this person or that person to do my job. After a few years, I was able to do my work on my own, and now, I'm the one training or helping other people do their jobs. Either, again, officially I have subordinates or people reporting to me directly, or unofficially I'm a kind of mentor or supporter or helper or coach to new hires or younger people, or again, or overseas people or different teams or different departments. So you want to really show growth. Another concrete thing to include in this essay, if it applies to you, is any kind of certifications or additional training, any courses you've taken, if you've earned any kind of license or credential to prove that you're continually learning and improving your professional profile and your professional expertise. Or, I guess, like in my case, I just joined the board of an organization, the Organization of Counselors, AGAC. I've recently joined the board there. That would be something I would show an update that would indicate that I'm advancing in my career or able to be a kind of influencer or have taken on additional responsibility, having been chosen and voted for this elected position of a board member of an organization, anything like that. Finally, don't forget the last part of the question, which is really asking how soon you expect to be promoted. You're at this position, show them the organizational chart if you can. Some schools, some applications actually require you to create and show them where you fit in the organizational chart. I think that's a great exercise. Insead doesn't allow you to send them a graphic, but you can do the same thing with words. So my next position would be whatever, and again, if that would be try to show details. What in that new position I would be promoted within 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. In that new position, I would have increased responsibilities, and again, be specific. I would have more people under me, a bigger budget, whatever it would be, directly responsible for P&L or something. actually be really concrete, because again, the admissions office, even if your company is big and famous, they don't exactly know the structure, they don't memorize the organizational chart of every single company in the world. So how could they possibly know exactly what you would be doing at that higher level? And finally, again, if you would be the youngest one to be in that role, or at least younger than average, again, they don't know that. The global average is roughly this, and I'm younger than that by this much. Tell them if they don't know. And again, how would they know? So make sure you tell them. Finally, this is just a brief one, not applying to many of you, but if you're currently not working, Insead says, what are you doing and what do you plan to do until you start the MBA program? The questions behind the question here is basically, what are you doing? But also, I think they want to know why you're not working full time. Was it your choice? Was it the company's choice? Was there some restructuring where you let go? Just be honest with them and tell them, and try to spin it as best you can by showing that you're doing something productive with your time, making the very best of it, taking some classes, doing some volunteer work, doing an internship, preparing somehow for your future, and in some way doing something that will be of benefit to Insead. Remember, the fourth admissions criteria is ability to contribute. So show that you're spending your time productively and staying motivated, staying positive. It happens. People do lose their jobs or leave their jobs, and you just want to put that in a positive light so that the admissions office can not be worried about it. They ask this question, I think, because recruiters will want to know about gaps. Gaps are always a fair subject for them to ask about. There's a separate question in the profile pages about any gaps at all from high school till now. This is a more specific question about a gap. So you need to address it positively, and let the admissions office move on, and so that they'll feel confident that you can explain it to a recruiter when you're trying to get that very important post-MBA job. So that's it for these little job essays. I'll be talking about the other essays. Next one up in this video series is the goals, why MBA, why Insead. So stay tuned for that. It's coming soon. Thanks again for your time and attention. Please do your best with Insead. It's a fun school to apply to. They get to know you very well, and it requires you to do a lot of thinking and reflecting, which can be a good experience if you let it be. So try to enjoy the process, and best of luck. Thanks again. Bye-bye for now.